That's why you...
That's why what?
I'm going back to bed.
Stop being a fucking coward and tell me!
What's up? I'm Ashley, and we're going to break down from Season 3, Episode 6. Let's get into it. Jim and Tabitha gets into a fight, and Tabitha read him to filth. He got just what he deserved. Jim noticed that Tabitha wasn't in bed. He asked her if everything is okay. She's like, yeah, I just can't sleep. He said, well, come back to bed then. She's looking out the window. She's like, I should have done more when I was able to go back home. He tells her, it's okay. You did what you could do. It's okay. She's like, stop telling me that. Stop lying to me. I want you to tell me the truth. He said, well, would you rather me tear you down? Huh? Would you want that? He had the audacity to say, you want me to read your mind. You want me to be the bad guy? Fine. But I was the one at home holding our kids together while you ran off. Now hold up, Jim. Holding what together? The kids was running you. You wasn't running nothing at home. They was running you. They told you what to do. They told you what they were going to do. They ran you. You didn't do nothing. What's wrong with you? If anybody was holding anything together, it was them. Julie was the one watching Ethan when you was doing what? Huh? You doing what? Tabitha said, now you hold on now. You act like I went off on a vacation when I was just trying to save our daughter. Jim's like, that's your problem. That's your problem right there. We could have did this together. You only want to do things yourself. Then he had another audacity and put his finger in her face. She slapped it away.
That's why you...
That's why what? That's why what?
Put it in my face again. See if you have a finger on your hand then. He said, I'm going back to bed. Tabitha said, stop being a coward and tell me. Tell me. He had a little tantrum getting out the bed, and he said, that's why you wanted a divorce, so you could deal with Thomas's death on your own. You want to do everything by yourself. Tabitha said, oh, so you're Mr. Knight in Shining Armor, huh? You think getting the divorce was going to let me deal with it on my own? I was already on my own. What's wrong with you? You was at work trying to build a roller coaster that's just going to get people stuck in the air. You wasn't at home watching Julie and Ethan in Thomas's room, crying, looking at his toys. You wasn't there looking at that. You're upset that you had to take care of your kids for the few days I was gone. You only had them for a few days. I had them for a year when you were off doing God knows what. He said, no, 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 no. Even the monster outside said, shut up. It said, enough of that. Dang, I can hear you all the way down here.
No!
Julie comes downstairs looking all emo and says, where's Dad? Tabitha tells her he went down to the lake with some people to get the rest of the food. Julie said, oh, so we're going to act like you guys wasn't having a screaming match last night and that had nothing to do with it? Tabitha apologizes that she had to hear that. Julie said, I'm sure they heard y'all at Colony House. I'm just glad some things are finally getting back to normal. Girl, bye. Jade is trying to explain the bottle tree and how Tabitha got back home to Boyd, but he's all over the place and barely making any sense. Boyd said, I thought you said you had something exciting to show me. Jade said, well, yeah. What do you think this is?
Yeah.
Jade continues to talk about the bottle tree and how it was important to Miranda. Boyd asked him, well, did you go to the other tree? He tells him about the bottle tree him and Sarah saw when they were out in the woods and tells him it had a note inside that said 1864. Jade starts looking at his board because he knows he's seen that number before, and when he finds it, he says, where is this second tree? Henry was waiting for Victor in his room, and when Victor finally shows up, Victor tells him a story about Mrs. Davis. Her son was very sick, so she drove to a store that was pretty far to get this card that she knew would make him happy. But on her way back home, she got stuck here. She eventually died, and I'm pretty sure her son is dead now too. Henry wants Victor to show him around, but Victor says, I have something very important to do. Henry said, well, can I at least tag along? Victor said, I don't think that's a good idea. Victor thinks about it a little and tells him, well, if you want to, you can walk with me there. Kenny brings the rest of the supplies from the ambulance to Marielle. He offers to take it downstairs for her, but she says, it's okay, I got it. You go home and get some rest. You can tell something's on Kenny's mind because he's just not acting right. Even when Kenny is outside and Boyd sees him and asks him what's wrong, Kenny tells him he's not ready to talk about it yet. Boyd goes inside of the clinic to low-key check on Randall because you can tell he's feeling guilty, but he's too afraid to go talk to him. You should be, because if I'm Randall, I'm coming for you. When Boyd is about to walk away, Christy calls him and lets him know that there was an ultrasound machine on the ambulance, and when he sees Fatima, to let her know. Fatima and Ellis are over there terrified at the fact she's eating rotten food, and I wonder if she told him about the blood. Ellis is saying there has to be some kind of a medical explanation for all this, but he's just trying to make the situation better. He knows his girl is weird, to say the least. She's like, stop looking at me like that. I don't want everybody in town to look at me like that. You're looking at me like you're scared of me. He said, I'm not scared of you. You should be. You should be backing up, watching your back. Boyd knocks on the door, but they're hesitant to let him in because Fatima's scared. She don't want nobody to look at her. Tabitha goes to visit Donna at the pool scene. She lets her know that she was there when Dale went through that tree and that he was just trying to help. Donna said, well, I'm sure he had some kind of smart remark on his way out, huh? And that he did. He said, this is what a smart person would do. You just over there sitting on your butt. I'll be home trying to get you some help. And now look at him. He needs some help with getting his body covered up. Donna said that meeting couldn't have been easy. Tabitha says she feels like she let everyone down, including her family. Donna said, let them down. Let them down. Your family thought you were dead. They just needed you back. Look at Dale. That could have been you. Don't try to be a hero. Go spend time with your kids. We get to Victor and Henry at the cave, and Victor tells Henry, okay, you can go now. Henry said, no, I'm going inside with you. Victor said, that's not a good idea. Henry said, I just got you back, so we're going to do this together. Victor said, okay. Fatima and Ellis sit Boyd down, and they tell him about Fatima's weird cravings. You can tell from the look on Boyd's face, he is worried. Very concerned. And then he does tell them about the ultrasound machine. Fatima's like, I can't go. I can't go. I don't want to. I'm scared. What they gonna find? But Ellis does talk her into going. Meanwhile, Boyd is outside the door with his hand on the wall and his head down. He just knows something ain't right. Marielle comes in to change Randall's bandages. He tells her he wants to look at his scars by himself. So she hands him a mirror and she gives him a moment to himself. When Randall looks at himself in the mirror, you can see all the emotions on his face. I think this is going to change Randall, not drastically, but maybe slightly calmer. Kenny is looking through drawers in the kitchen until he smells Julie smoking weed outside. When he goes out there, she offers him some. He said, now, don't push it. Kenny tells her he's looking for the screwdriver that his mom kept in the junk drawer. In the kitchen, Julie said, oh, well, my dad gets fidgety when he gets nervous, so he probably just moved it. She thought about what she said and was like, oh, I'm sorry. Kenny's like, no, it's okay. Don't even worry about it. It's okay. How is Jim just going to go into somebody else's house and start moving their stuff around? That's not even his house. And that's another reason why I don't like him. Kenny goes inside and starts looking at his mother and father's memorial. And you can still tell something is heavy on his mind. Henry and Victor are inside the cave, and Henry says, how much further? Look at here, Daddy. If you're not trying to walk, then you should have stayed outside. Victor notices nothing inside the cave is in the same spot, including Jasper. Henry says, well, let's just go back out so you can get your bearings together. Victor said, I know where I am. He tells Henry we just need to go deeper. So they go deeper inside the cave. Boyd is waiting for Ellis and Fatima to come out. When Ellis comes out to tell him Fatima is on her way, she just needs a minute. When Fatima is coming down the stairs to go meet them outside, Elgin says, smile, but doesn't even give her the chance to smile and takes the picture anyway. He tells her he's going to be making a photo album and a collage, but Fatima doesn't even care. She's barely even there, barely hanging on. When she walks outside, she tells Boyd and Ellis she doesn't want to tell Christy anything unless she has to. Jade has made his way to the bottle tree when dead-ass Tom pops up. And even though he's dead, he's still cleaning a glass. For what? That don't even make sense. He says, isn't it ironic? A drunk looking for answers in a tree filled with bottles. He tells Jade, you really think this place is going to tell you anything? Jade tells him he doesn't think anything is here by accident. He continues to be a Debbie Downer and says someone just put the bottles in the tree just to do it. It's not nature. Maybe it's just something someone made because they thought it meant something, but it don't mean nothing. And if you want to figure this out, then you need to sober up. Then just disappeared with his dead ass. Ethan is in there reading Tien Chin's book when Tabitha walks in and says, what you got there? He said, Tien Chin's book? Then she says, did you learn to read Chinese when I was gone? He said, no. He said, "Do you think 10 Chin's with her husband now? Do you think they were happy when they got married?" Tabitha knows what all this is about and says, "I'm sorry about last night." Ethan says, "I liked it better when we first got here. Everyone was so scared. There was no time to be angry." Then Tabitha hears something upstairs. She's like, "Is it somebody upstairs?" Ethan said, "No." But Tabitha goes to check anyway, and when she walks up the stairs, she sees those bald-headed Aunt Cooey kids looking at her saying, "Aunt Cooey, Aunt Cooey." She says, "Why are you here? I tried to help you." And they finally go away once Ethan runs up the stairs. He's like, "What was it? Those kids?" She's like, "Yeah." And then they both run outside. They're like, "We got to get out of here." Donna just got done covering Dale up with those rocks in the pool when Kenny walks up. He asked Donna if there was any room for him at Colony House. He says his house is meant for a family, and his mom would want the Matthews to have the house. Donna tells him there's always room for him. Then Kenny said, "You still aren't throwing those sex parties, are you?" She said, "Get out of here before I change my mind." But she never answered the question. "Are you still throwing those sex parties? Let me know." Tabitha and Ethan go over to Jay's place to help him figure out the puzzle. Jay lets them help, and he tells them when you line the numbers up, they're all the same number. He says some numbers are in cursive, and some of the numbers repeat themselves over and over again. Marielle tells Randall if he doesn't take care of his scars, then he's going to be in some big trouble. He's like, "I heard you. You don't got to keep telling me that." Then he asks her, "Why are you pretending you're okay?" She don't want to answer that. She started talking about Nikki, knowing good and well she knew what he was talking about. He tells her it must be easy for you to pretend since you have someone to sleep next to you at night. He said, "When I'm on the bus by myself, it's terrifying. I don't get to pretend." Marielle said, "Well, don't go back to the bus then. You can stay here, go get your stuff. I'll talk to Christy." He's like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Christy. You staying with us now." Them monsters really did a number on him. We get back to the cave where Henry is still saying, "I think we should turn around. We could get lost." Victor said, "We're not gonna get lost. Look at here, Daddy. Get with it or get lost. You could have stayed outside." They walk a little further and they finally find Jasper. Victor puts Jasper in his bag when Henry says, "This is your mother's." Victor said, "Shh, shut up." Henry woke the monsters up. One of the monsters said, "You know, Victor, if you keep coming down here, one of these days we'll make you stay." They have to run up out of there. Victor said, "Come on, let's go." Julie goes over to Randall when she notices that he's leaving the bus. He tells her Marielle said that he could stay at the clinic with her and Christy. Julie asks how is Marielle doing. He tells her she's over there acting like nothing even happened. Julie said, "Well, I get stoned. It helps out a lot." He said, "You got any more?" And she takes out the rest of the weed. Victor and Henry get back to the truck when Henry says, "Why did they have this? It's your mother's." Victor lets him know that the monsters like to take things sometimes. Henry said, "Why?" Victor said, "I don't know, they just do." Victor tells him he used to hide in this truck before the people came. Henry said, "Well, why? Why'd you hide in here?" "Oh my God, it was because you were alone." "Oh my God, you were alone." Victor said, "It's okay. It's okay now." He tells him Jasper is going to help us. He has all the answers. He told Christopher a story about this place and we have to make him tell it again. Henry said, "Victor, that's a toy." Victor said, "It's okay. We'll make him tell it again." We get to the clinic where they're doing the ultrasound on Fatima. Christy told her to expect an acorn-sized baby in there, but it wasn't a baby in there. She said, "Sorry, you're not pregnant." Fatima said, that can't be. Something's inside of me. Find it. Find it." Marielle said, "Fatima, there's nowhere else to look." Then that's when Ella says, "We need to tell them." They're over there looking like, "Tell us what?" Y'all gonna be in for the shock of y'all life. Now, what y'all think going on with Fatima? She took a pregnancy test. Now, what's going on? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Elgin is excited. He's finally smiling until he looks at the picture he took of Fatima and sees the lady in the kimono in the same picture with Fatima. She whispered in his ear and said, "Help me, Elgin. I can save you. I can save all of you. If you don't get up out my ear, how you gonna save somebody looking like that?" Now, why was dead Fatima in the same picture as Fatima? I think this is letting us know right here that the lady in the kimono is Fatima. But now Elgin is shook. He was just happy. He found himself a little camera, was taking some pictures, and now look. Look what you did to him again. So they're still in there trying to figure out the puzzle when Jade tells Tabitha those kids are not going to hurt you. She's like, I don't know that for sure. And he tells her, I think they just want your help. Then Tabitha notices a drawing on the table. She says, what is this? Jade tells her he thinks there's some kind of protection and how they were out there when they were getting the food. She asked him, did you see 3 big red stones in a circle? She said, no, 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 no. She said, when I was a little girl, I had the same nightmare over and over again. It wasn't just Miranda. I saw this place too. I just didn't know it. And we get this flashback of little Tabitha in that same spot Jade was in, with those big red rocks and those statues. So Tabitha has been connected to this place ever since she was a little girl. All this does is just make me have even more questions, because what's really going on? Y'all let me know if y'all have a theory on Tabitha. And just to let me know all your theories in general down in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.